Oh, I am so sorry I didn't see you stand there. So, I think the last time we talked, we were discussing the phonograph. And as you can hear, the phonograph is actually working. I know last time I said that the person who owned this didn't want to spend the money to have the cartridge rebuilt, but he decided since he had already spent enough on the restoration that it had and the restoration of the phonograph itself that the cartridge was worth rebuilding. So that was rebuilt by West Tech Services. I think they're in Indiana or Ohio. And as you can hear, it performs beautifully. So that the phonograph now works. The radio head works. I'd show you that, but currently the only station that I can pick up is a political one, and we're not going to even touch that bag of... Yeah. So we're going to leave that alone. But it does work. This only picks up AM stations. There's also a long wave, I believe, a long wave receiver in here as well. As you can tell, it has two different dials on the front. So, but that doesn't really work anymore. No one really uses the long wave. That was more in the 30s that was a big thing. It also has an option for an FM transmitter. Here, I'm a little low on a record. Put this back. And we'll shut her off right now. So, the FM transmitter was an option with these radios. You could essentially, as long as it had an RCA output, you could plug it into this and it would play it. I could not find one of those, even though I wanted to, so this way the person that owns this can actually listen to the radio. It's the FM radio that everyone listens to, but that's one thing I couldn't find. So I use that RCA jack for something a little different. I'll show you that in a second. But the casework, as you can tell, there were some chips, and the owner didn't really want to make it look brand new, so I just took a little cloth rag and some polyurethane and rubbed it over it to protect the wood, so this way it doesn't dry out and crack and peel off. So I just rubbed a light coat over top of it just to protect everything after sanding it, of course, in order to give it some tooth, so this way it doesn't just peel off with someone's fingernail and look like crud after a couple of years. Other than that, we also replaced the cover. This isn't what the original cover would have looked like. The original cover was had larger squares on it. I couldn't find that particular fabric. The original got chewed up by some rabbits from the owner prior to the owner that has had me restore this. So I found this online, I think it was on eBay, replaced this, and lined it up the best I could. My OCD took effect because, these little dots, I wanted to make sure they were perfectly level, so they're as close as I could get it, which I'm happy with, and I'm hoping the owner is happy with that as well. This radio also didn't have any buttons whatsoever, except for the knobs, so I had to go and design these in SolidWorks, and 3D print them out using my Anycubic Photon S, and then I used a white resin that I tinted brown a little bit, and then I airbrushed them with some, I want to say it's Model Flex paint in order to get them to the right color. I polished and cleaned the bezel here because that was dull, and then I repainted all of these recessed pieces. I originally thought that they might have put a brass piece into the mold and then did their shot, and it was an actually inlaid piece, but it was not. It was I took a scribe and scratched it in there to see if I found a new layer of brass underneath, but it wasn't. It was just plastic, so I found out that those were painted. Even the silver tone lettering on top, I did that too as well. And then I think that's about everything in the front. You guys already saw the radio head rebuilt, so I'm not going to bother you with anything in there. You guys already saw the phonograph rebuild. That works. The motor is starting to get a little underpowered. The owner might have to have the transformer that's on there rewound. I don't know. I cleaned it and I oiled it, and it's still lacking a little bit of power, so that's something I couldn't figure out. and I don't feel safe rewiring a transformer, especially for a C-pole motor. So yeah, let's turn this around, and then I'll show you the back. Alright, so here is the back of the radio head that we restored prior. This is the input for the phonograph, which is currently running, because I have the radio on. And this is where the FM, come on, focus, where the FM tuner would actually plug in. As you can see, I have something plugged in here, but it's not an FM tuner, because as I said, I didn't find that. So, we'll come down here. This is just a phonograph. As I said, it's currently running just because I have the radio on, and I'll show you why here in a second. But this is the interesting part. So over here we have something not so interesting. This is just your shortwave antenna. And then we come down here. This right here is the original speaker. Now you see we have two wires here coming off of that transformer. That transformer acts, this transformer acts as a resistor because without this, the radio head would blow up. This transformer here is the voice coil, which takes the output from the radio, which is right here, takes it down, turns it into something that that the speaker can use. So we have that soldered onto this cable here, which comes up to our brand new 8-inch mid-tone speaker. That's how I did that. This is not original, this board down here. This is just a piece of 1/2-inch plywood, and I stained it to the color to match the sides and bottom. Even stained the bottom. So that's how that works. But now we'll get to the fun part. So as I said, this red cord here doesn't go to an FM tuner. Where does it go? Well, let's follow the cord. It goes to my phone. So we'll turn this up. Okay. So unlock. We'll play our handy dandy intro and see what happens. See? So now the owner of the radio can plug in his phone. There are even Bluetooth receivers that have a 3.5. This cord is actually an RCA to 3.5 millimeter jack, that's all that is. So the owner can actually play any song that he wants through his Bluetooth if he gets a Bluetooth receiver, or he can just plug it into an MP3 player, cell phone, what have you, and play the sound through this. So it's kind of like a little bit of an update without having to completely tear this out and throw this all away and put in something new and make it look old. This is, I guess I can show you what this looks like, but this is all the tubes, all the stuff that you saw me redo was down under here. These little holes here are actually holes for the tuner buttons on the front. They just set everything. But this is essentially all that's there. And I also got, so let's get rid of our handy dandy Bible and our records here and open this up. Pull that out of the way. So I also got him all of the literature I could find for this particular radio, and protected one of the original pieces that came with the radio. This is just a diagram, I believe. Yeah, a diagram with parts and information on it. And as you can see, it's kind of gotten tattered and torn through the years, and so I put it in a sleeve form so this way he can keep it with the radio. But that's about everything that we've done to her, and I hope you enjoyed the process. But yeah, so she's completely done and ready to be sent off. Oh, sorry about that. I didn't see you standing there. So, I think the last time we talked, we were working on getting this everything together. Really? You had to go and ruin the shot? Okay.